All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov, Efrat, Baruch Hashem, Shvua Tov L'Kulam. All right, good luck to everybody, and hope you had a wonderful Shabbos. And Baruch Hashem, we had nice Nate's Minyan today again here at Shira David. Haidul Hashem Kitov Kili Adam Chazli. Okay, we're going to continue our lessons in Likutey, Halachos, Hilchos, Tefillin, with Siyata D'Shmaya, of course. And today we're in Halacha Hey, and today we're going to do letter Chavav. Okay, 26. Same Gematria Zut Kevav K, huh?
Yeah. 26 is?
26, yeah. 26. Yeah, 26. Okay, so now that we were speaking about the Tefillin Shel Rosh and the Tefillin Shel Yad, right? We were talking about that last week, right? So now we're going to talk about the illumination of the mind of the Tzaddik and how it works with Knesset, how it works with Klal Yisrael. And let's see what the Rebbe has to say. Siyata D'Shmaya. Alkein, Hamaychin Shel Tefillin Shel Rosh Heim Bechinas Ekya Avaya Ekya. So we said that the Tefillin Shel Rosh has different names of Hashem related to it that we learned from Nosson, brought to us from the teachings of the Arizal. Okay, and these names are Ekya, Havaya, Ekya. Okay, Ekya, the same idea when Moshe Rabbeinu, we know the name Ekya, it's written in the Torah, right? When Moshe Rabbeinu was by the burning bush, and he asked Hashem, so when they ask me, what's your name, what should I tell them? So he said, Ekya Asher Ekya. Hashem said in the Torah, it says in the Torah, tell the people, my name is Ekya Asher Ekya. That's what the Torah says. Okay?
What's Moichin Shel Tefillin?
When you say
It's Moichin Shel Tefillin. So I can Moichin Shel Tefillin.
Yeah.
What's the Moichin Shel Tefillin?
The
Brains of the Tefillin.
No, what I can draw to my mind from it. What I can draw from that. You'll see
what is Ekya?
I will be.
That another, so
it's a name of God that means I will be. Yeah, but we don't say the name, so we just...
Is Yehia saying the name?
No. So when you say Ekya, you're mentioning the name, but you're not saying the name.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Ki shem Ekya hu bechinas ibor. The shem Ekya is the same like an ibor, like a pregnancy, like a pregnancy. I will be, right. A pregnancy is. It'll be, right? The lady will go through the gestation period, and it's something will come from that, we hope, right? Okay, and this is the Iber from the Mayach, right? It's the Hachana, it's the Hachana to accept the Maychen. It's the what's the word we use? It's the Hachana. It's the preparation. Because the Shem Ekya is the lotion that I'm ready to be, right? On the Zamin L'Mehevi. In other words, I'm ready to be. Okay? Kimavaya b'kavanas ki mavaya b'divrei Rabbeinu Zal, right? Pri Eitz Chaim and Shara Tefillin. Okay? Kimavaya b'divrei Rabbeinu Zal b'Torah Kara Kira Es Yeshua. And that's lesson 6. That's lesson 6, and it's letter Beis in Likutey Moran. It's the beginning of Likutey Moran. Okay, Ekya hu bechinas tshuva. Look at this. Wow, Ekya is an aspect of tshuva. We can explain. Don't worry.
I know. I'm trying to hold on my.
Therefore, it's called Ekya bechinas ana zamin lemehevi. Ana zamin lemehevi. I am ready to make myself to be something of myself. I'm ready. I'm preparing myself to be the Ana Zamin Lemehevi. I'm preparing myself. I'm ready to become who I have to be. Wow. Ki koydem tshuva. Listen to this. Listen, because before a person did tshuva, before a person's just going through life and not paying attention to anything that's going on. He's just floating by, right? Adayin ein loy havaya klal. He has no God. He's not connected with God. The guy's just living life, but he's not connected with God. That's a pretty shallow life, right? Okay. Ukishemaske lasa is tshuva. When he starts to do tshuva, who bibechinas ekya. So then he becomes closer to Hashem, and that's the beginning of who he's going to be. Ekya, I'm going to be a new person. I will be a new person now.
Every day.
Every day. Bechinas ola zamen lemhevi. I'm prepared to become who I have to become. Ki ozu maskil lahazir ulahechin ulahachin esatzmai. Because now he's prepared to prepare himself to become she'oz yiyaloi avaya boilam. Then he has now a God in the world, because he took on the idea that now he's working on tshuva. He's getting closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is what it's all about, right? Here's a nice one. You have to do tshuva on the tshuva, right? Hashivenu Hashem elecha v'na tshuva, right? We spoke about that many times, right? But here we're going to learn it inside. We spoke about it outside. Now we'll learn it inside. From the Rebbe is going to explain it to us so beautifully, Be'ez Hashem, again with Siyata D'Shmaya. So there's an idea of tshuva, right? That a person does tshuva the first time. He realizes he's doing something wrong, and he does tshuva. He says, "I'm sorry, Hashem." But then he doesn't really understand how terrible that thing may have been. He may not understand. He doesn't understand what's going on and the damage that's going on in the next world. Right? We don't understand these things, right? We're in this world. We don't understand how this world is connected to the other world, right? So a person doesn't really always doesn't realize that I'm doing something here, but it's causing a lot of reverberations. A lot of things are going on in the next world at the same time. You follow? Wow. Yeah. Ayin sham vafilu at tzaddik shekva osa tshuva shleima, aval pichein tzarich lasis tshuva b'chol eis ala soga rishayna. So even tzaddikim, so you'll say, okay, good. So we're talking about now to do tshuva. So the average guy, but even the tzaddikim are doing tshuva on their tshuva. Why? Because they understood Hashem in one light, but now they understand Hashem in another way. Yeah. A greater way. So they have to do tshuva that I only understood you before Hashem this way. But now I realize how much greater you are. And they're constantly growing, getting closer to Hashem. So they're constantly doing tshuva on the tshuva. It's a constant process.
Because you're always getting better, theoretically. You're always improving yourself. And you're a new person. So
getting close to Hashem. But so now, in regard to my understanding Hashem a moment ago, I didn't understand Hashem the way He is now. So I'm sorry, Hashem. I didn't recognize you at that level.
So how do you do tshuva on tshuva?
You say you're sorry for the way I did whatever I did in the past. In other words, how's the best way to do it? How's the best way to do it? Is like this. Best way to do it. So let's say a person works in a big company. I'll try to give you an example for this to help you understand this. Okay, so a guy works in a big company, and he doesn't know who the bosses are or anything, right? He doesn't necessarily know, and he's standing in the elevator with this guy, and he has his coffee, right? He has his coffee in his hand, right? And the next thing you know, he kind of trips a little bit, and the coffee spills on somebody. So he says, "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to do that." Right? "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to do that." Then the next day he finds out that that's the big boss. He finds out that he spilled the coffee on the big boss. Good morning, Yossi. He found that he spilled the coffee on his big boss. So he goes over to the boss and says, "I'm so sorry. I didn't realize who you were. I didn't realize who you were. I didn't realize you were the big boss. I didn't know. And I'm so sorry. That's why I apologize to you. Can I make it up to you? Can I do anything? You understand? So that's why we come to Hashem. Hashem, I didn't understand who you were. I didn't know it was you. I didn't know it made a difference. But now I understand. So that's tshuva ala tshuva. Right? You understand the concept?
Yes. So for a Baal tshuva,
yeah,
that's something they should be doing every day.
We do it every day. Every day we say in the Shmona Esrei, Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu, mechal lanu keinu ki fashanu. Right? We keep saying that 3 times a day.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand the way at night, the way I started in the morning, I got closer to you, Hashem, and I didn't realize my level. I didn't realize how great you were. So I say, I'm sorry.
So
and then during the day, again, I didn't see always Hashem and all the things in my life. So I say, I'm sorry again. You understand?
So I have to do tshuva on Slach Lanu.
Yes, there's a concept of doing tshuva on the tshuva. Tshuva on the
because
tshuva.
I didn't know what that really meant.
Okay.
So...
Well, you have the translation, tells you. You have the translation. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay.
Read it.
Well, it's written in English, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Afa pichein tzarich lases tshuva b'chol eis ala soga rishona. So he has to do tshuva on his original understanding, the understanding that he had before. The way he understood Hashem originally was not as great as the way he understands Hashem now. So he says he's sorry to Hashem that I didn't recognize you as much. I recognize you more now. It's a very fine point that we're trying to bring out here. Ki b'chol eis hu bo hasoga chadasha. Because like we keep saying, the Tzaddik constantly comes to a new hasaga, new understanding of Hashem, a new perception of HaKadosh Baruch Hu all the time. So based on this new perception that he has of Hashem now, it's nothing compared to the was before. So he says he's sorry, Hashem, for the way I didn't recognize you before. And some people may say, well, listen, what was he supposed to do? He's gaining. He's advancing. Sure, but that's it. But there's a concept to still say you're sorry to the Rebbeinu Shalom because you didn't recognize him as great as he was at that time, as great as you understand him now. I will be, right? Ekya means I will be, right? So in other words, he does tshuva ekya because I will be based on the way I understood you, Hashem, before. I'll understand you better today. I'll understand you better now. Ala soga shel etmol, right, from yesterday, shehis gashem es haroim muselikusai, right, that he made HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to say, in Gashmias. In other words, he didn't realize, again, he felt Hashem something. He had some tangibility of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not tangible at all. Oh, wow. Esrei Muselikusei, the loftiness, the greatness of Hashem. Shezeu Bechinas Shabbos. That's an aspect of Shabbos. Why would you say that Shabbos? Shabbos is interesting, right? Shabbos, the word Shabbos has three words in it, right? Shabbos has 3 words in it. What's the 3 words? You can take the letters Shin, Beis, Saf, and you can rearrange them, and you can write Beis, Shin, Saf, which is Boshes, right? What's that? Embarrassment, right? I'm embarrassed. Boshes, right? Embarrassment. And then you can take the letters, and you can take the Tuf, the Shin, and the Beis, Toshav, right? Switch the letters around, right? You ever think of that? No? Interesting. I'm explaining to you. Every Shabbos, every Shabbos, when we start Shabbos, Erev Shabbos is tshuva. Erev Shabbos is always tshuva. We have to get closer to Hashem. So the word Shabbos itself has in it these things in there. To feel that embarrassment of how I understood you, Hashem, to do tshuva on that. When I do tshuva the right way, then I can really have Shabbos. You understand? Then I can really have Shabbos. I come back. The whole thing is tshuva on Erev Shabbos. Right? We go to the mikveh, b'chol hapachas, right? You go to the mikveh, and you think thoughts of tshuva. The whole idea, in the word Shabbos, you can flip it around, make 3 words from it. Okay? Now, bechinas, olam haba, shehu yiyah yom shekulei Shabbos. Like we know that Shabbos, when it comes to Shabbos, we know that Olam Haba is going to be a Yom Shekulei Shabbos, right? It's going to be a day like a complete Shabbos, a day like complete Shabbos. So the Chazal tell us that, we have to work in this world to learn Torah, and if we have to see if we can enjoy it, because when we come to the next world, that's all we're going to have. We don't have anything else. Yom Shekulei Shabbos. We have HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have Torah Tefillah. That's all we have in the next world. So if you don't develop an appreciation for it, so then what are you going to have for eternity? People in this world work to develop an appreciation for wine, right? The people that go, they study wine and they want to understand it. And the different tastes of wine, right? It's a whole geschäft, right? It's a whole business, right? Wine, right? They develop a taste for it. They develop it. They do that with bourbons. They do that with scotch, right?
Taste and eye.
They want to develop a taste, right? Yeah. So here, what I'm trying to say now is we have to develop a taste for Torah, for avoda, and enjoy it, and mamish enjoy it, because Shabbos is Yom Shekulei Shabbos. That's what we're gonna have. So if you really enjoy it, that you'll have. It'll be it'll be the most beautiful experience. But if a person is living his life and every time he's learning, he can't wait to finish. So when he comes to the next world, what's he going to have? He'll always be, he won't, right. Shekulei Tshuva. Right? The Gemara says that in Rosh Hashanah on Lamed Aleph Amid Aleph, okay? This idea over here. So we say it like this. So the tzaddik is ready to be. So we started off that the shameless of the Rosh. Right? We're talking last week about the Tefillin Shel Rosh and the Tefillin Shel Yad. So the Tefillin Shel Rosh is Ekya Havaya Ekya. Right? We said Ekya Havaya Ekya. Ekya Havaya Ekya is the gematria of 68 Chayim. Chaim is gematria 68. So if you add up the letters of Ekya, Yud Kei Vav Kei Ekya, you have 68 Chaim. Nimsa. Shet Tzaddik ha'emes hu tamid Ekya ki bechol pam v'pam hu ba'al moichin chadashim umaskil lahasik es Hashem ba'asoga chadasha u'moichin chadashim. So that's the tefillin. Sasha, you asked before, what's the tefillin? The moich of the tefillin. The tefillin draws. We said like the tefillin is almost the conduit. Tefillin is almost that interface to be able to bring in the new mayach. The tefillin is allowing me to do that. That's the idea of chayim aruchim, making something in my life, making my life longer. We said that yesterday when we were benching Rosh Chodesh, right? Chayim aruchim, right? We talked about that, right? Right? Yeah. Now we know what it means. Right? People think that Chaim Aruchim is just, I should live a long life of 120 and plus, right? But now we're learning Chaim Aruchim is really when you take your life and you make something of your life. You make something of it. You understand?
Connection to that in Erech HaPayim? Is there a connection to Chaim Aruchim, Erech HaPayim?
Yes.
What is that?
Okay, so Erech HaPayim is when I take a moment to take that deep breath, to assess different things, to assess things, right? Like we said, we want to be slow to anger, right? Erech HaPayim is slow to anger, right? And how do you do that? By taking that deep breath, by thinking it through. Why am I going to get upset at this person? I realize it's really Hashem that you sent me this test. It's only a test that you sent me to see how I'm going to respond to it. So every time we recognize Hashem in each segment of life, we're being marach that zman. We lengthen that zman. You understand? The more we can recognize Hashem in our day, is the more we're making it eternal. Right? A person can just spend his day reading the newspaper and doing whatever it is. He doesn't think about God at all. right? But you could be doing your day, and you could always during the day you see Hashem. You understand that what you're doing is you're working in order to be able to support your family, to be able to make Shabbos, to make the Chagim, to do it, to buy what you need for the family, so they can have clothing, the kids can be happy and well. Right? You're doing all of these things for that reason. So all of those things become part of your avodas Hashem. That's what we keep learning about. We're learning about how do I make my normal things that I do in life part of my avodas Hashem. And that's really what the Baal Shem Tov taught us. Right? That's really the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. Find Hashem in everything you can. Right? Find HaKadosh Baruch Hu in every way, in everything that you can. Via finding Hashem, you're being marach that zman. Okay, you make the time count. You make the time count. Okay, and you need the erech apayim to do that, because you have to take it easy and think it through. If you don't have the erech apayim, you're not going to have the right? Does it make sense, Yossi? Do we talk about it more?
Makes sense, great.
Okay. Chaim Chadoshin Shemaschel Lichyois B'chol Pam, that he starts to live life again each time. Shekol Zeh Hu B'chines Ekya. All of that is the idea of Ekya. Ki B'chol Yoim Hu B'chines Ekya. Because each day, he's in the whole day is part of the idea of Ekya. B'chines Ono Zamin Lemhevi. I'm prepared to become whoever I have to become. Ki Ilu Adayin Lehiskil Lichyois Klal, as if he didn't begin to live at all. And this is what we learned that Rabbi Nachman would tell Reb Nosson after we give him over an amazing teaching. He would say, "Listen, I wish I could be Jewish." He said, and Reb Nosson said, "But what do you mean, Rabbi? Look what you just taught me." So he said, "But that was then. What about now? Now I need to I have to find Hashem again." See, we're always looking in the past and grabbing onto things and holding on to things. The tzaddikim don't do that. The tzaddikim say, okay, that's in the past. I got to do something. How can I serve you now, Hashem? How can I serve you now, Hashem? How can I find you in my life right now, Hashem? Rak ata hu maskil lichyos ulahachin es atzmai shia loyavaya b'olam. He's preparing himself now, each time, to find HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the world, Ekya. And that's why the Tzaddik is always living in this light, in the idea of Ekya. The Tefillin Shel Rosh is connected to the Tzaddik, so that's why it's Ekya, Avaya, Ekya. We're going to see in a minute. Tefillin Shel Rosh, therefore the Tefillin Shel Rosh, Bechinas Chayim Aruchim. That's the idea of Chayim Aruchim. The whole idea of the Tefillin Shel Rosh is that I should make something in my life. Every moment should count. Right? Shel tzaddik shemaskil b'chol pam lichyois mechodesh b'moichim chadashim. The tzaddik is always starting again. He's always starting again to live his life mechodesh b'moichim chadashim, with a new mindset, with a new perception in life. B'alkein v'chinas ekya havaya ekya. And therefore the Tefillin Shel Rosh are connected to the Shemas Ekya Havaya Ekya She'oila, which go in with the gematria of Chaim, 68, because they're living their life in that way of I'm ready to be. Shebechol yoim hu bechinas ekya, because every day is always that way. I'm starting again. Bechinas ibor shehu ana zamin lemavik. Just like in ibor, we said, like a pregnancy. When we're going to see how it works with pregnancy, why, and Rav Nosson's bringing this in now, because really the whole idea of the Tefillin is talking about Yetzias Mitzrayim, right? That we were birthed, we became a nation with Yetzias Mitzrayim. So Rav Nosson is just starting us off over here with this idea with the Ibar, the idea of the pregnancy. Okay, Anna Zamin Lemehevi. Shemaskil Lichyois Mechodesh b'moichim v'chiyas chodesh ki'ilu adayin lo'yoyu lo'yavaya v'chiyas klal. He starts again, always. Rav Nosson keeps going over this again so we can get this concept. Because to us, we don't necessarily understand these things, because we're living our life, we're trying, we think it's always the same thing. I'm the same guy, I can't change, I can't. No, he's showing you that really the tzaddikim are always changing. The tzaddikim, everything is new by them. And we have to do that also. We said that really we brought this last week, that in Chav Hey, that the three, the tzaddik, the Beinoni, and the Rasha need this idea of the newness, right? The tzaddik needs it, so the tzaddik can be always new, and tzaddik can always come closer to Hashem. The Beinoni needs the idea of Ekia, right? Because he's constantly fighting his Yetzer Hara. He has his Yetzer Hara, and he's constantly fighting it. He's always successful, but he always needs that. He always needs that edge to be able to fight that Yetzer Hara, because he's always fighting. And in the Russia, we said, perhaps needs it more than everybody else, because he's so hurgal in his ways. He's so accustomed to his ways. For the Russia to understand that I'm a new person now, but he has these tendencies that are just going to keep coming back at him. He has to constantly start again. For the Russia to start again and to say, okay, so I did this wrong before. I did this wrong. But now I'm new. I don't have to do it now again wrong. So I did it wrong then. I don't have to do it again now. But then he'll probably do it again. He'll probably fall to it again. So he has to start again. He has to constantly start again and never chas v'shalom to give up.
It's not just Russia, it's a tzaddik.
Huh?
Tzaddik also has to start over again.
No, it's of course the tzaddik, but perhaps the Russia he needs it even more because he's trying to get out of his mess. Right? The Russia's stuck. He's trying to get out. Well, like we started off when we said now, in other words, like I don't have a God at all. I don't have any. In other words, we said before a person does tshuva, he doesn't have any God. That's what we started off to say, right? Before tshuva, he has no God. He's living his carefree life, right? His shallow life without God. Nobody that doesn't have God in their life is living a meaningful life. They're just living a shallow life. They're just involved in whatever they. Does that make sense? I mean, do you see that with the people you meet? Yes?
I'm always very moved by it, because if someone who's hedonistic, okay, I'll give you that. They have that temporary fun, and it usually runs out. It doesn't work. Although I've come across a couple of real fighters, they seem to hold on. But okay, but the guys that maybe say, look, I don't know about this God and as much as you're talking about, but I like being connected to the universe. I like living consciously. I take care of my goof. I want to eat properly. They're honest. I'm moved. They have chachma, and I'm impressed that they're able to get to these, okay. I'm impressed that they're able to, so to speak, get to a certain point of shleimus seemingly without Torah.
But it's superficial. It's not real. If anything happens to them, his health, everything's going well. If something goes wrong in his life, everything's going nicely. Everything's working nicely. Right? All the I's are dotted, the T's are rolled, everything's good. But so as long as something would go out of the mareches, right, of his life, then what's going to happen to him? How's he going to deal with it? Right? Everything's going well. His paycheck's coming in. He's making his money. He's doing his things. He's going to the gym 3 times a week, or 6 times a week, or 12 times a week. Whatever he's doing, right? It's all good. But if something happens now, he can't go to the gym all those times that he was going to, and he'll be upset. He'll be bent out of shape. Does that make? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I hear that. There's an Likutey there. Yeah.
Right, where the Yid understands that it has the ups and downs. These guys, whenever they have they're living their life on an up. So everything's good. I'm connected with the universe. I'm connected with this. It's all great. It's up. But as soon as he goes down, he has that Yerida. Wow. Then they need to go talk to their therapist. Now, I know that this is the way it is. This is the way it is. Okay. But again, anyone that's connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom and sees the newness in their life, and always realizes I'm a new person, they're living a real life. They're living real life because they're not bound by all the other nonsense of their life from yesterday and all the other time. They realize I'm mamish new today.
And that's the tshuva.
That's tshuva right there. When I realize I'm a new person.
Boy, I thought I was a great guy yesterday. I thought I did some really good things. I thought I finally figured
And
it
you
out.
did, and you have to know, and Yossi, and then you have to, in the morning, you have to grab onto those Nakudas Taivas to get you going in the morning. You need those Nakudas Taivas, and that's good, of course. But realize that today I'm new. In other words, I have these good tendencies, but I'm a new person today. I'm a new person today, and I'm brand new. And I have to find God in my life again today, because this day that I have today will never be another day like this day. This day is a unique day. So how do I find you, Hashem, in my life today? In this unique day. Each day is unique.
Yeah.
Okay. Ki nisha tamev bechinis ekye bechinis anazamen lemheve ki tekev ki shemekabel hamoichin sheim bechinis havaya. Because when he accepts his mind, the moichin of the tefillin, which is the idea of havaya, yud kei vav kei, right? Or Kadosh Baruch Hu chesed. Tekev hu chayzer maskil is gageya la Hashem yizbarach bebechinas ana ekya ana zamen lemheve. In other words, he gets that mayach. He realizes God, and he wants more. He wants more. So that's the idea of the tefillin shel rosh is ekya havaya ekya. Ekya. I'm going to be. I want to find you, Hashem. I'm working on finding you, Hashem. When I find Hashem, that's the Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's the mayach. Then I say, wow, I need to find Hashem again. I need to work on it again. Ekya havaya ekya. You understand? It's that process. It's that constant process. Constant process, yes. Have a klap, okay. V'chein li'olam, like he says, v'chein li'olam, right? What does that mean? It's a process, it's eternal, that's how it keeps going. V'alkein elu ha'shleisha shemas, ekya, havaya, ekya. And therefore these three shemas, ekya, right? I will be. Havaya, yud kei vav kei, right? Ekya, I will be. Oilim, they go to the gematria of Chaim, 68, life. Kizeh, because this is the idea of the hischadshus, that the person can merit constantly with his new mind that he gets, right? That's hinted to in the shemas themselves. Ika Chaim, bechinas Chaim arukim, because the whole idea of Chaim is Chaim arukim, to make my time count, to make the time in this world, to make it something special. You know, Yossi, the way I can explain to you that is like this. You know, you could do something nice, right? And then you could take a video of what you're doing, right? Right? You could do something nice, and then nobody, whatever. But then that same thing you're doing, you're singing a nice song, or whatever it is. You can take a video of it. Now it's there. You have it. It's that time segment, whatever that video is, you have it, right? So that's an idea to understand maybe this thing of erech hapaya, right? You make something count. It's there. You make something of it. You make a segment of it. Because Rav Nosson said that people can live 120 years and they come to the next world and they say that you only lived 3 days. And they'll say, what do you mean I lived only 3 days? You only lived really 3 days in all your 120 years. But then there's a person that lived 30 years, right? And they'll say, wow, he lived a life of 120, right? Because again, depends how you make what you make of the time that you have in the world. I live all the time this way with arichas. But okay, but now that's the tzaddik, right? The tzaddik is constantly ready to become who he's going to become. He finds the Rabbeinu Shalom, and then again he's working on finding Hashem again. He finds Hashem, now he's working Ekya again. But Knesset Yisrael, the regular people, right? The regular people are not necessarily on that level. They're not on that level. That's why the Knesset Yisrael is compared to the Tefillin Shel Yad. And what's the shemus of the Tefillin Shel Yad? Ekya Havaya Adnus. Ekya Havaya Adnus. That's the three names. Ekya Havaya Adnus. It's not Ekya Havaya Ekya, it's Adnus. So what is the difference? So we said that equals up to what? 112. And that's the Yabuk. right? Yabuk Baki, right? Kihem tzrichin gam kein b'chol yoim lahaskel mechodesh b'chinas ekya. Because everyone has to start this. So that's why the first shame, this first name on the Tefillin Shel Yad, which is connected to Knesset Yisrael, is the shame Ekya, because we all have to start again. We all have to be ready. Ona Zamin Lemeheve. I'm prepared to be whoever I'm going to be today. I'm prepared to serve you, Hashem, in whatever aspect that I can serve you today, Hashem. V'achakach mikablen hamoichin shelehem. And then they get the mayach. Again, we said by getting up in the morning and starting your day and connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you put on the tefillin, and the tefillin give you that, you realize how special the tefillin are, and you realize how you're connecting yourself to the Rebbeinu Shalom all the time through the tefillin. You realize that. How it's mamash binding you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As you wind the tefillin on, you're binding yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you realize that you attain some godliness through yourself. Aval achakach keshenistalkin hamayach shelahem. But then when we leave shul, right, we put away the tefillin. So then our mind we lose track of that. The mind leaves. We only left with that reshimu. We're left with that. I remembered, the tefillin, I put them on. I remember something. I remember there's something there, right? Nisharin, there's something that's remaining there. Bechinas adnos, shu bechinas malchus. Adnos is connected to the shame of malchus. Malchus. And we said that malchus is emunah, right? Malchus is emunah, is an aspect of emunah. Shemaminim, that we believe with our pshitas, we believe within our simplicity, Hashem Yisbarach Shehu Adoin Hakol, that we believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the master of all. We believe that. In other words, even though I don't necessarily find Hashem, I'm not that connected, but I know and I have the emunah that Hashem is the Adoin Hakol. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the true master of everything.
This is like emunah versus bitachon. Okay, so you have that klal, the general belief.
Yeah.
Bitachon, to put it into practice, is
that's it. Yeah. That's actually acting out the emunah. But here we're talking here about the emunah, not the bitachon.
Right. That's right.
Right here we're trying to ground in the emunah into us, so that way when we need to apply the bitachon, we have the emunah to give us the bitachon.
You can't go to bitachon without emunah.
No, it's what? No.
Okay.
I don't believe so. No. Right. Bitachon is really something, is just acting it out. Mm-hmm. Right? Like even all the things that you're learning, right? Every time you learn, right? So these are things, the way they perceive something, the way they right? Like you were saying, right? How does it work? Right? You were talking about the guy that what do you call him? The guy with the money? He had a funny name for it. No, the guy that made the counterfeit money, whatever it was, he had his money.
Alchemist.
The alchemist, yeah, I love that word. Alchemist.
Alchemist.
Yeah.
Alchemist. So he's a money guy, huh?
Chemist. Alchemist. He's
a chemist.
Alchemist.
He's able to manufacture. He's a counterfeit. He has the chemicals to put this together.
Right.
Yeah.
But you say, but so if everything's going with him well, so it's okay. But if anything goes wrong, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. So, but Yossi, isn't that really the same thing that you were just talking about? The other guy that's connected to the universe and everything's going well, but as soon as something, there's a curveball thrown at him, he's out. And then you said that, but the man of bitachon, he's living life good, right?
Right.
Because he's working on his emunah. That's why he has his bitachon. Right. I'm just trying to use your lesson.
Fair, that's fair. No,
I'm trying to use your.
I've seen these guys who are on top of their game.
Yeah.
And you're right. Something does all of a sudden happen to them, and I see that all of a sudden they're struggling in a deep, profound way. I guess most of us would. Now they have some good tactics because again, they're honest people, they're decent people, they're connected people, they're healthy people. They'll do things like breathing. We don't own breath in Shema.
Yeah.
They'll do the jumping into pools, to shock their bodies, like to help, wake themselves up. They do things like this when they start having certain fears. I have to be honest, they really do. They have certain fears. But on the inside, though, you're right. When something doesn't go right, without me talking, even for I'm sitting here and learning. You're right. If something doesn't go right, I'm bent out of shape, and this is with Torah. So
Halachos kama v'kama, but you're not really bent out of shape. No, yes, you're just saying that. Okay. Emunah shema'aminin b'Hashem yisbarach shu Adonai kol. Ki zoysa b'china shel adnus. She b'chinas emunah tzricha l'shoyer tamid. This has to remain with us all the time. We have to have this idea of the emunah with us all the time. Ki zoysa nekuda einay nistalik li'olam, because that can never leave us, because we never know when we're going to need it. We never know when we don't know that moment that we're going to need it. We always have to have that emunah with us. We always need emunah.
I always need it moment by moment.
Every moment.
Every day.
Every moment. Ki behechrech, because it's incumbent sheyisha bechinas reshimu shel moichei hamunah. Because it's incumbent that there'll be something left. There'll be a reshimu. There'll be some kind of impression, some imprint left still within the person. That reshimu that's left there. In order for them to be able to strengthen their avodah, to constantly use the emunah to strengthen, because we don't know what curveball is going to be thrown at us during every day. But we know if it's you, Hashem, you're throwing the curveball. Hashem, you're the pitcher. Hashem, you're the pitcher. And I know you're throwing the curveball so that I can stomach it a lot better. I don't get upset at people. I turn to Hashem, and that's where my salvation is. Hashem is the only one that can give us salvation. Ki ikar ischachas hamoichin shel hamamon sha'amoin ha'am hu, because the main ischachas, the main newness of the mind of the hamoinam, the regular people, right, the multitude of people, bichdei sheyashiru amuna chazoka sheze ikar chiyusam. Emuna is our life. That's what gives us our strength. Kihu yisoid hakol, because that's the yisoid of everything. If we don't have emunah, we don't have anything, right? If we know a person doesn't keep Shabbos, right? He doesn't keep Shabbos. He thinks he's going to make his money and everything because, So someone called me the other day and said to me, I still can't believe this. Really, it was like unbelievable. The guy calls me up and says to me, He said that he drives some kind of, like he's a Lyft driver or one of these kind of drivers or something. So he says that he believes that Hashem wants me to work on Shabbos. He really wants me to work on Shabbos. Why? Because they told me that I'm going to get like a $500 bonus if I drive on Saturday. Mm-hmm. I get a $500 bonus if I do this Saturday. So that God, and I need the money, and God really wants me to work on Saturday. That's why He's giving me this test, right? That's why He's giving me this.
It's not so crazy. He needs money. Hashem's trying to send it to him in a certain way. I could see how someone could come to that conclusion.
Right. So what I tried to tell the guy was like this. Hashem sent it to you, and you think that Hashem is telling you that you're supposed to work on Shabbos because you're going to get your $500. Did you ever think that perhaps maybe if you don't take that and you're going to keep the Shabbos, you may get 20 times that? Right. Who knows what you're going to get? The bracha comes from Shabbos.
Right. And it's a huge bracha because you're now put in this position.
Yeah.
Away the $500.
Exactly. Whatever the amount of money is, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But I realize, but that's what we're saying here. The whole thing is really the yesod hakol. It's the yesod of everything. Because this person's going to drive his thing. He's going to be driving on Shabbos. He's going to be so upset at himself. Why he's driving? He's trying to talk to himself that Hashem wants me to do this. Then I couldn't grab my hand. Hashem wants me to do this because He sent me this. It's only on Saturday. He didn't tell me if I would drive on Sunday.
Doesn't Rav Nachman even speak about that? How he'll come to Yetzer Hara in the form of a mitzvah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I'm doing your will. That's on Hashem. You're right, Reb Chaim. But listening to your classes, it's working. I'm hearing, the messages from Hashem. He wants me to work on Shabbos.
He wants me to work on Shabbos. Yeah. See that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hopefully he didn't work on Shabbos. Whatever. What are we going to do?
I'll give you $1,000 if you don't drive on Shabbos.
Say it again?
Make it real to him. I mean, if I was a multi-billionaire, whatever it was, I'd say, listen, I'll give you $1,000 for not driving on Shabbos.
But it's not the money. It's the emunah.
It's the emunah.
It's the emunah. If a person they convolute the emunah, they twist it around to make it fit the bill, right? To make it no, it is what it is.
It's not the mullah, it's the munah.
Not the mullah. Very cute, David.
Maybe I'll understand what you're saying. Maybe I'll understand completely what you're saying one day.
What do you mean?
That I'll say something that makes sense, except for, like you said, I said, I'll give you $1,000 for not working on Shabbos.
You're right.
Told me.
No, you can. No, you can do that. But again, so then he's just taking the money again.
Yeah.
You miss it. The
so
person
he's not
be
making
missing
the connection. Since you told me this, I'm going to give you $1,000.
Right. He's saying he's putting God in there. He's saying God is telling me I should work on Shabbos for the money. He's using God's name as the license to be able to do this, right? Ay. Okay, but again, like we just said, sheyashiru be'amuna chazaka sheze ikar chiyusam kiyu yisayrakol. But you should know, I asked this same guy, do you put on tefillin every day? He said to me, no.
So that messes with the brain. That's how you come up with perceptions like that.
Do you put on tefillin every day? He said, no. But to get your emunah, you need your tefillin. The tefillin leave you with that emunah. And therefore, the reshimu, this imprint of the emunah that stays in the mind, that stays in the person, stays in there with this idea of adnus, the shame of adnus, shehi bechinas emunah, because the shame is connected to emunah, shemaminim ba'adoin hakol, because we believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the master of all. And through this, their mayach can be renewed, right? That they can have a hischatshus all the time. And then they can pass over all of the obstacles that come in their way, right? Like the guy we just were speaking about, right? These are all obstacles that come in our way, but you need your tefillin, you need the emunah, the shame adnus, in order to have the emunah, in order to be able to pass through it. But the meichin so that's the tefillin shel yad. That's connected to Knesset Yisrael, right? Knesset Yisrael is ekya, avaya, adnus, right? So because in the morning I start to be who I'm going to be, I get a godliness, I get an impression of God. And then I have the reshimu left is the adnus, which is the emunah. But when it comes to the tzaddik, which we said is ekya, adnus, ekya, avaya, ekya, aval ha-moichin shel tefillin shel roishem bechinas ha-moichin shel tzaddik, that's of the tzaddik, hein nisharim, they remain the bechinas ekya, ki hu zoiche be'emes l'chaim arukim anal b'chol pam liyas mechadash. Because we're not necessarily going to live that way. That we have that eschatshus all the time during our day. That newness. We feel it in the morning. We all can feel that in the morning. We feel fresh. We feel invigorated in the morning. We feel that in the morning. But it's hard to feel it during the day. But the tzaddikim can live their entire day constantly feeling new. That's why the tzaddik is a tefillin shel roish. Ekya, havaya, ekya. I find God, and then ekya again, I have to find God again. Because I'm hischatshus again, newness again. Where we said the regular people, like us, the regular people, We find God in the morning. We have that ischachus in the morning. We find that. And then we get the Yud Kei Vav Kei. We find Hashem. But then it starts to leave us during the day. And what remains with us? That adnus, the adnus, Adoin HaKol, that Hashem, you're the master. I have that emunah. That remains with us during the day. But when it comes to the tzaddik, it's a totally different thing because the tzaddik is constantly renewing himself.
Yeah, but he had to be in one. He wasn't just born a tzaddik. He was always doing that. He had to grow to that, didn't he? Mm-hmm. So we're growing to that too. I
understand. This is. Let me tell you something. The second system that we're learning here is also something great. If we could live this way all the time and realize through my day, Hashem is the Adoin HaKol. You are the master of all. All through my day, no matter what happens, that's a great level. That's a great level.
So what I used to say to myself is, like, do you believe in God? I said, yeah, of course I believe in God. And sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this is the same thing. So when I forget less and less,
you forget less and less, and you're connecting to the Tefillin Shel Yad. Right? You're connecting to the Tefillin Shel Yad from the arm Tefillin, right? Because that's, again, recognizing the oddness that you have Hashem with you all the time. So the more you do it, the Tefillin is working.
See, the challenge I have with what you said,
okay,
is when you say, a normal person, this is what they have. Yeah. You're putting your belief on them in that way. It's like when you see that, if I begin to see myself that way, then that may take away from the effort that I'm putting in because, I'm going to be that way.
You want to be like, no, he's explaining to you the different levels of why, what's the difference between the Tefillin Shel Rosh and what's the difference between the Tefillin Shel Yad. Why is the Tefillin Shel Rosh, the names of God, connected to that, to the box? Okay. The head box is connected to this way. And why is the Yad connected to this? Why does the Zohar say that the Tzaddik is connected to the head? And the Hamayinam, the regular people, are connected to the Yad. This goes back to the story again. Remember, this goes back to the story, right? Where we had the eight is a Canaan, right? So the first four were connected to the Yad, right? The latter four were connected to the Rosh, because these are the great tzaddikim. I'm not on that level. I strive. I want to one day become there, but I'm working on just realizing the oddness that Hashem is the Adoin HaKol through my day. That having that impression in my mind, no matter what happens, I realize Hashem is there. Hashem, you're the master of everything. Nobody can change anything that. No one can take anything from me. It's all you, Hashem. You understand? That's an amazing thing. Don't discount that. That's an amazing thing. Okay. V'zeh bechinas ekia asher ekia. Zeh bechinas tshuva ala tshuva. That's the idea of the tshuva ala tshuva, right? I recognize who you were, Hashem, before, but now, wow, I perceive who you are. How did I understand you like this before? I have to do tshuva on my tshuva. You understand? Shebechol pam. All the time, and the tzaddik is constantly living that way. It is with the newness, this newness of Ekia all the time. Ekia Harishon, the first Ekia, I'm prepared to be who I'm going to be. I'm ready to prepare to get this new mayach in me. And which is the Tefillin Shel Rosh, the Tefillin Asher Ois Yois Rosh, which is the letters of Asher. Asher. The word Asher is the same letters as Rosh, right? You ever realize that? Mm-hmm. Well, take the Asher, the Aleph, the Shin, and the Resh. Now move it around. Now take the Resh, the Aleph, and the Shin. Put it that way, and now you have Rosh. You see that?
Yeah.
Heim HaMoichim Bechinas Havaya, which is the Moich of Havaya. Ba'acher Kachu Chayzeh. Then it goes back. Liyais Bechinas Ekia. To begin, I'm ready to become. I'm ready. Ki maskil ishtoikek lachza lekabel chiyas u'meichin chadashim oid yoiser. He's pining, he's yearning to gain this again, to come back. Lekabel chiyas u'meichin chadash. He wants his new mind again. Oid yoiser. V'zeh bechinas ekya hasheni. Nimsa she'ekya she'ekya hu bechinas ekya havaya ekya. Ekya she'ekya is the system of ekya havaya ekya. Shu bechinas tefillin. This is the tefillin shel rosh. Ki zeh Hashem ekya she'ekya gila Hashem yizbarach leMoshe b'shas yitzias Mitzrayim. Hashem taught us that when? Taught this to Moshe Rabbeinu when? When he was leaving Egypt. At the time that we were leaving Egypt, we said that the tefillin is like the Eber. Right, the birth. It's like the gestation period of this. So when Hashem said Ekya, when we're leaving Mitzrayim. Look what he says now. V'chein eitzel kol adam ba'atzmai tzarech lahamshich al atzmai shnei bechinas hamaychen. Everybody has to draw upon themselves these two aspects of the mayach. These two aspects. What are they? Hein bechinas tefillin shel yad, tefillin shel rosh. We have to try to bring the newness in our day constantly. We have to try to bring the newness in our day constantly. And when we do that, then we're like the tefillin shel rosh. We start out in the morning and we feel the freshness. And we feel the brand new day. And when I start that way and then I find HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then if I say, you know something, I have to start again. So if I start again during the day, then I'm connected to the Rosh. I could do that. I can connect to the Rosh. I can connect. I could be Ekya again. I could do that again. But if I'm not, I'm still connected to the Yad because I realize that Hashem, you're the master of all. Okay? Because when the mind leaves us, when the impression of God, we don't have it clearly in my mind. Then the Rishimu, that imprint that's left, the Emunah that's left in the heart. You can use that in order to bring a new das, a new mind frame, a new mindset to yourself. L'chazek be'emunah yisera, to have stronger emunah. The lachza u'lahaschil be'avodas Hashem, to start and to find HaKadosh Baruch Hu again, start again. V'zeh bechinas tefillin shel yad shehu bechinas emunah malchus. You can use the emunah. You can use the emunah of the adnas in order to make yourself new again, to connect back to the tefillin shel rosh. So we're learning the system over here. We understand why the rosh is like the rosh, because it's ekya, I will be. I find Hashem, and then I want to do this, start all over again, ekya again. We said that the tefillin shel yad is ekya, yud ke vav ke adnas, because I start in the morning with that freshness. I find God, but then it leaves me. And what do I have left? The adnas, which is emunah, adoin hakol. You're the master of all. But when I use that and I attach myself to the emunah, I can use that and to make myself new again. I can make myself and start again with a new impression, a new maya. Then I connect back to the tefillin shel rosh. So we can do this each day. We can do this. Okay? Shemois sha'olim yabok shehu bechinas baki, which is the idea of baki. And we have to understand that we have to be a baki in when we go up and when we go down. And we're going to always have our downs in life, but those downs are only there to bring us up higher. Now we know that the concept of every yerida is only l'tzairich the aliyah, right? You only go down to be able to go back up. You want to go up higher. And you need that. You need that emunah to understand that. You need the emunah, which is the tefillin shel yad, which is the adnas, which is the adoin hakol. You're the master, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're here with me in this thing, and I understand you're going to raise me up too. I understand that. Bechinas me'eva yabok, right? Like Yaakov Avinu crossed over that yabok, right? For his pachim ketanim, haniska la'el sha'ivrim al kol ha'miniyas. We can go over all of the miniyas. We don't have to have any miniyas. When we realize who the miniyah is coming from, the obstacle, where is that obstacle coming from? It's coming from you, Hashem.
And
when I have
is what?
Miniyah is an obstacle.
Okay.
Obstacle. Right? All the obstacles that come in my way. right? It could be the phone call I get, that text message, that email. It could be a fax. It could be I meet someone in the street. These are all can be obstacles. But I realize it's all coming from you, Hashem. And after, when the person is merits to have this idea of the tefillin shel yad. The person is a person of emunah, and his strength is in emunah. He doesn't place it down lahapil to lower himself. Chas v'shalom. He prepares himself, he cleans himself off. And that's we can always be going from one level to the next. To live a new life. That's the tefillin shel rosh hashemas that we said is ekya, avaya, ekya. Shehem ekya vaya ekya bechinas chayim, which is the gematria of chayim, life, chayim aruchim. V'havin heitiv, Rav Nosson says, know this well. Know this well. V'havin heitiv. Know this well, because you need this. Right? We need this every day to have that emunah. And we realize that the tefillin, now we're learning a little bit what the tefillin are doing for us. The tefillin give us that emunah to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the tefillin shel yad, give me the emunah to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're the Adoin HaKol, you're the master of all. And when we live our life in that way, we'll be always successful, we'll always be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shkoyach, everybody.